Hi, everybody. Joe D'Eramo here with our more than 2-minute drill for My Pinnacle Network. This is the podcast put out by My Pinnacle Network, a business-to-business networking group with 5 locations. I'm Joe D'Eramo, as I said. Today we have with us Steve Dubin, he's always my sidekick. And now we've got the other partner in crime, which many of you people have not seen before, Jonathan LaMaster. We have all 3 of us on because we thought it might be a good idea to talk about. We've now completed a month's worth of virtual meetings on Zoom for all 5 My Pinnacle Network locations, and we've kind of learned a lot of things. In some cases, we might have learned more than we wanted to. So we're probably not going to hit that, but some of the good things that we've learned from holding these Zoom meetings during the pandemic. And first, I'd like to say welcome to both of you.
Thank
John
you.
and Steve, thanks for joining us, and thanks
for hosting.
Thanks for dressing up. Actually, one of the things I've learned about Zoom meetings is a term, it's called the party down below, which basically means your top is all nice and spiffy, and down below you're wearing sweats and, yes, other comfortable clothing. But this particular podcast, we thought we'd focus on the things that we've seen, the benefits of doing these Zoom calls, and what's been good about it. So I'm going to turn it over to Jonathan as our newest member of the podcast. What have you seen from your Zoom calls, or specifically My Pinnacle Network meetings, that you've liked?
Well, I think, just the sense of the shared experience that we're all, going through here together. It's unprecedented. Anyone younger than 100 and something, has never experienced this before. And, just the fact that we are, here attending the meetings, and, we're not just the referral network that we have been, that is definitely one of the more important aspects of My Pinnacle Network, helping each other to connect with business. We're also a support group in a way. We're going through this shared experience that's unprecedented, and for some people, maybe this is the highlight of their day is seeing some other human beings. I don't know if you're like me, you've done a lot of Zoom meetings, but some people are maybe doing 1 Zoom meeting a week or something, and they're chasing little kids around trying to homeschool, etc. So certainly for me, it's been really nice to see other human beings. And in addition to the shared experience, you have the literal sharing that you can do through the technology of when you're giving your verbal brand. Theoretically, you could share something on your screen, or show people something you've been working on. If you're like me and you work in marketing and technology, you could show someone a case study of something you've been working on, or a video that you launched, or some Google Analytics for digital advertising, or whatever. So that sharing aspect of the technology is kind of cool too.
Well, my group, I host My Pinnacle Network Westboro, and anybody in that group who's either a member or visited knows full well the difficulties we've had with our PowerPoint. So it doesn't get easier when you have a Zoom and you can share your own screen on your own computer. And we have had people make it part of their verbal brand in addition to our speakers. Steve, what have you noticed? You've been to most of these meetings except one. So what have you what's been the common thread for you?
I think, one of the real rubber hitting the road parts of networking is getting to know one another, not just on a superficial level, but on a real personal, visceral level, beyond the suit and tie, beyond the briefcase. And I think that Zoom has really brought us into people's home offices. You can see, if you look closely, you can see my Jiffy peanut butter in the corner. I think that networking is about getting to know, like, and trust somebody on a real personal level, and just even walking into their homes, their extra office, has really brought us to another level of understanding one another, and that's been good. I also find it very entertaining, quite frankly. And although I think it's kind of cool to use a technology where you could put up, I actually tried to put up my photo of the Leaning Tower of Pisa as my background, but my technology would not handle that photo. And I think that's sort of a good thing, that when I see, the waving tropical trees or the breakwater of Scituate, those are nice photos, sort of background photos to see, but they're not as real as entering into somebody's environment. And I really
True.
like that.
Yeah, no, it's given me a new nickname for you, Steve. I'm going to call you Vinnie Johnson because there's a microwave in the background.
That's
So
right. Yeah, I've been known for my mother-in-law's microwave. Yes.
there you go.
Yeah.
Jonathan, you were going to chime in?
I thought that was a TV set behind him.
Well, I probably could.
Steve's been watching a lot of movies.
Yeah, I probably could hook it up or just watch things spin slowly. Is entertaining enough for me? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, one of the perks of this, and God knows we didn't want to be in a pandemic and a shutdown, but one of the things that's been really inspiring has been the participation from our members and guests. And
Yeah.
I know I've been fortunate enough. Because of the Zoom meeting, I've been able to attend all 5 groups, and they're consistently very well attended. People are showing up a little early sometimes just to get in there and have a little chit chat, and because they're unsure of the technology, so they want to get in there early. And that's long been one of our pieces of advice to guests and members is get to a meeting early, because it's a great opportunity to meet people and talk informally before a meeting.
Can't beat the commute.
And that's the other thing is you don't have a commute, so it's like now you can get there early and just kind of chit chat, and it's a great way to meet folks. One of the things that's really been, I think it also lends nicely to people setting up one-on-ones via Zoom after during the meeting or after the meeting, and you can certainly communicate via the chat board and connect that way and say, hey, if there's a link or a resource that people want to talk about, the chat board is another shared opportunity where, just before this call, Jonathan was sharing projections from NPR on when the state might reopen again, which we're not going to go there for this podcast. But we did want to talk about some of the benefits of...
Expect the worst. That's my advice. Just expect the worst.
Yeah.
And then you'll be pleasantly surprised if
True.
we get out of this someday.
So, but I mean, that was kind of the idea of this podcast, was just kind of share things. We do have some more virtual activities coming up. My Pinnacle Network, all our meetings are going to be virtual. Glad I said that, because one of the things I wanted to share with you guys is that we're going through this, but My Pinnacle Network, we're continuing on. We haven't missed any meetings. We won't miss any meetings. So you're going to get in front of the people in your group every month, whether that's in person or online. So we're continuing on through this, and we will.
And we have a virtual happy hour coming up, don't we?
We have a virtual happy hour coming up. This will be a trial effort. It's April 30th at 5 o'clock. We'll see how that goes. I can somehow envision this being a regular thing if we continue on this path. And, at some point, maybe we end up being a live in-person group again. So that's the dream. We'll continue on. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us for this edition of More Than 2 Minute Drill. I think we've achieved that objective. Again, Joe D'Eramo, Steve Dubin, and Jonathan LaMaster for the More Than 2 Minute Drill. If you want to see this, we have a YouTube channel. It'll also be on our website, mypinnaclenetwork.com. And stay tuned for various reminders for our upcoming meetings, which start the first week of May. And
see you there.
Yeah, guys, thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. All right.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.